2025 was the year I fell back in love with running, and in this video, I'm going to explain why. However, the story does begin in 2024 because it really set the stage for me in 2025. In 2024, I finally decided to let go of the pressures of trying to be this elite level runner because that approach just was not working for me. I was in a rut with racing and training and just felt like I was trapped. So I finally let that go and started doing fun road races. We also moved to Boulder, Colorado in 2024, and that was one of the best decisions we've ever made. So all of 2024, I was having a blast on the roads, just having fun doing these road races. But 2025 is where I really felt like I started to get my footing with road racing. So at the beginning of 2025, I had my sights set on finally doing a half marathon, and I trained hard for 2 months leading up to the Mesa half marathon in February. I went out really conservative for the first half of the race because I had never run over 10 miles in my life for a race, so I was really nervous that it was going to be too long for me. But I had done some really good training that year prior, and I knew that I was in a good spot. Eventually I got through the halfway point and I knew I was going to be okay, and I was able to really push hard the last couple of miles and run an amazing time of 65:51 in my half marathon debut. This race was probably the most fun I've had in a race in years at this point, and it was just such a good feeling to have hard work pay off and to just have fun out there. After this race, I had my sights set on the Cherry Blossom 10-mile US Championship race, and I actually started getting coached by John Green because I wanted to start taking my training serious. Getting a coach was a great move this year because I feel like it really took off a lot of the pressure that I have on myself, and I don't really have to think about the little things as much anymore. But I trained hard all through March, and actually in March as well, I ended up proposing to Allie, so that was such an amazing highlight of the year as well, to finally be engaged and be able to call her my fiance. So eventually the next race I did was the 10-mile Cherry Blossom US Championship race, and I ended up running 50:02. My goal was to try to break 50 minutes in this, so I was a little disappointed that I wasn't able to do that, but at the end of the day, it is running, and you're never going to get all of your goals in one race. Running is one of those sports where you're never going to have a perfect day, so I was honestly just happy that I had a pretty good day out there. Unfortunately, a little bit after this 10-mile race, I did get a little injury. Instead of moping around and being upset with myself, I was really able to do a great job cross-training on the bike a lot, and in general, I just didn't let myself get too down. And that's something that I've just learned over the years. When I get hurt, I usually crawl up into a ball and just get really depressed, but this year I just didn't allow myself to do that, and I think it really helped, and it showed some good growth. I was able to focus on other things outside of running and just enjoy life and just not be so stressed about the fact that I was injured. Eventually, I did come back from my injury though, and I was able to run the Boulder 10K for the second year in a row, and I ended up running 31:57, which was over a 90-second improvement from the year prior. And I did this not even in the greatest shape of my life, and to still improve by 90 seconds from the previous year really showed that things were going well. I just had so much fun during this race. Then a week later, I was able to do a little 5K local race in Boston when I was at my cousin's wedding, and I ended up running 15:15 in this park run 5K, which is over a 35-second improvement from my best time on that course in the past. It was really cool to see the difference of my fitness in 2025 versus 2024. Obviously in 2024, I was just having fun with it, but in 2025, I was really starting to run some times that I was really proud of. So now we're in the middle of June, and I decided to, on a whim, sign up for a 1-mile race on the streets, something I had never done before. This was called the Pearl Street Mile, and it's this heinous square loop around the block. It was absolutely crazy, but I ended up running 4:22 and got 4th place overall, and I was actually really happy with that because I hadn't done any speed work or mile work in years at this point. Plus this race was at altitude, so the conversion was probably around 4:12 or faster. I'm not gonna lie though, this race was honestly one of the most painful things I've done in years at this point. But before I get any further into the year's recap, I want to talk about today's sponsor. So as you guys know, I am trying to do all I can to go from 0 to hero and eventually break 14 minutes in the 5K. So one thing I've really been trying to work on is my diet, and that's why I've been working with Nourish. Nourish is the easiest way to find and speak to a registered dietitian and have it covered by your insurance. Nourish accepts hundreds of health insurance plans in all 50 states of the US, and 94% of Nourish patients pay $0 out of pocket. I was signed up with a dietitian super easily, and we had an hour-long meeting, and we talked a lot about my health, and I walked away with some really good answers as what I can do to help myself. The dietitian sent me a visit overview, and we went over several different things I can do to help myself improve my diet, including drinking a lot more water, eating a lot less saturated fats, and trying to eat more complex carbs. Nutrition is so important for me as an elite level athlete because what I put into my body directly impacts how I feel during my training and racing. But even though I'm using Nourish to help me with elite level athlete diet, Nourish also specializes in a variety of different health conditions and concerns such as weight management, eating disorders, gut health, women's health, sports nutrition, and more. So working with real licensed nutritionists really is more helpful than a lot of people may think it is. I found the app to be super easy to use. There's a lot of cool features as well, like meal suggestions, and it's really easy to schedule appointments or get in touch with your dietitian on there as well. The fact that 94% of Nourish patients pay $0 out of pocket means that you really should give it a try if you are interested. So if you are interested in Nourish, head to usenourish.com/theathletespecial and book your first appointment in under 5 minutes. Moving on to July, I really got excited about trying to do a 5K this summer, so my coach had me do some 5K specific training and I ended up getting into really good shape. The highlight of my summer was doing this 4x1 mile workout with my friend Charlie, where we ran 440 down to 432 for the workout, and it was just the best I had felt doing VO2 max stuff in a while. Unfortunately, it never really worked out to do a 5K this summer because all of the track races pretty much ended. I really wanted to still do some race, and we saw that the US 20K championships was at the end of the summer, so I decided to hop into that last minute. This was a special race for me because it was the first time I was allowed into an elite level field in years. I used to be an elite level track athlete and I could go into the elite level races, but since being a road runner, I was always just in the more casual fields. I ended up finishing in 29th in this race and ran 62:47 on a really difficult course. This time would be equivalent to my half marathon PR, but it was on such a harder course that I knew that I was in really good shape to run a fast half marathon. Early into the fall, I decided to do a 4-mile race called the Boulevard 4-miler. Allie and I both did it and we had a blast. Allie got second place in the women's field and I got 7th place in the men's field. I ran 19:15, which is 4:48 minute per mile, and I actually came through the 5K faster than 15 minutes, so I was really pumped about that. Unfortunately, after that race, I got a little stomach bug, which was annoying, but the next week I was able to recover in time to do the Boulderthon half marathon. This was a half marathon race I just couldn't miss out on because it was in our hometown and I just wanted to have fun and do it. I ran a little bit over 70 minutes in this and ended up getting top 5 with a bathroom break, which was pretty cool. Now guys, this is the sad part of the video. Unfortunately, after this race, our dog had an emergency back surgery where he really hurt his back and it just caused a lot of chaos in the month of October. I ended up getting a small injury and wasn't able to run for around 3 weeks-ish, and motivation was definitely low during this period because I just wasn't focused on running. I was planning on doing a half marathon in November, but I decided to pull out even when I got healthy because I just didn't really feel like I wanted to do that anymore. And that's something I'm glad that I have the ability to do now. I feel like I know what races I want to do and what races I don't want to do. So motivation has slowly been coming back and I'm finally getting myself into better shape again. And I decided to start the Zero to Hero series on YouTube, which you guys have been loving. The whole premise of the Zero to Hero series is that I am going to go from being really out of shape to trying to break 14 minutes in the 5K on the track in early 2026. Now, are we going to do that? I have no idea, but I'll tell you this, I'm not scared about it, and I'm just excited to go out there and put myself out there and race just because I want to be doing it. Last week was Thanksgiving, and Allie and I decided to hop in a turkey trot, and we both actually ended up coming away with the win in the race. Allie ran an insanely fast time of 16:07 and I ran 15:22. I haven't had a win like that in a long time, and yes, it wasn't the most competitive race, but it really was a lot of fun to just be able to try to beat someone at the end of the race. So 2025 has just been a wild year, and it's awesome because now, after 2 years of not doing anything on the track, I'm super motivated to do some track 5Ks this winter and hop in some other events as well, like a 3K or mile. So I feel like I've really healed myself over the last couple years and been able to focus on just so many other areas of my life, like moving to Boulder and getting engaged and buying a house. So there's just so many things that have been going on in the last couple of years, and running has still been a consistency that I love. So cheers to 2025. I hope that you guys had a good 2025 as well, and get ready for an amazing time in 2026 as we continue the Zero to Hero story.